Say thank you. Say thank you to the women who gave you a voice. Say thank you to the women who were arrested and imprisoned and beaten and gassed for you to have a voice. Say thank you to the women who refused to back down, to the women who fought tirelessly to give you a voice. Thank you to the women who put their lives on hold, who, lucky for you, did not have better things to do than to march and protest and rally for your voice. Dina Liegerman. Countries with more gender equality have better economic growth. Companies with more women leaders perform better. Peace agreements that include women are more durable. Parliaments with more women enact more legislation on key social issues such as health, education, anti-discrimination, and child support. The evidence is clear. Equality for women means progress for all. Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon. Each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing possibly, without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Maya Angelou. Good morning. I'm Mrs. Keough, history teacher, forum dean, advisor, coach, and feminist. As you might remember, last Friday in chapel, Joelle and Maddie educated us all on the values and urgency of feminism and how we must make efforts to unveil the hidden biases surrounding gender. On that note, I'd like to talk to you today about International Women's Day, celebrated annually on March 8th. The objective can be described as, all around the world, International Women's Day represents an opportunity to celebrate the achievements of women while calling for greater equality. This year, the celebration has chosen two themes I'd like to talk about today: Be Bold for Change and Day Without Women. Let us start with the state of affairs. The Global Gender Gap Report, produced by the World Economic Forum, predicts that the gender gap will not completely close until 2186. The report quantifies the magnitude of gender-based disparities and tracks their progress over time. The report investigates the gap between men and women in 4 key areas: health, education, economy, and politics. The data is staggering, including the statistic that the United States sits at the 45th spot for women's equality behind Rwanda, Cuba, Philippines, and Jamaica. Yet perhaps the most important conclusion from this report is that we cannot simply sit back and wait for the gap to close over time. We need instead a consistent and comprehensive effort to create deliberate policies that make this gap close faster. That is, we need to #Be Bold for Change if we want to see any progress before 169 years. Many of you are probably thinking at this point, good, the people who care about that should go for it. I'm going to live my life and others can be part of a struggle that just doesn't necessarily pertain to me. Let me help you see it just a different way. For example, please stand if you are a female student at Westminster. Well, that is a good deal of you. Thank you. Okay, now please stand if you were a female student at Westminster. Well, there are some. Now, for those of you who stood, I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about how it was that you came to be here. So if I had to guess, I would imagine that many of you were called a parent, a coach, a teacher, or an admissions officer, someone instrumental in getting you to this very special place. Those individuals are important mentors in your life, but they cannot take all the credit for getting you here. I challenge you instead to think of the 12 female day students who enrolled at Westminster in 1971 as the school's first female students. Yes, just 12 young women boldly entered these spaces we have all become so familiar with as the trailblazers of a new identity for this school. Now, I'd like the 12 young women in the front pew to please stand. Now look around and feel the weight of that position. I think about the challenge for those 12 girls as the simultaneous call to fill the much-needed void of femininity here, but also to do it in a system that has revolved around male traditions since 1888. Yet they did it. 12 soon became 25, 25 became 100, female students entered the ranks as orders as time passed as well. Eventually, it is just the reality. It is the scene we just witnessed when you all stood up. So what's the point? The point is that we, in this case, all of you who just stood up, are able to enjoy the Westminster experience because of the bold desire for change in a generation that came before you. Indeed, the young men who remain sitting also benefit from the boldness of these women. For their time at Westminster would lack the richness of experience that comes when men and women collaborate. Instead of waiting for that gap to close on its own or relying on others to take action, the leaders of Westminster, who at the time were primarily male, made a deliberate choice to change their policy. In addition, a group of young women embarked on a certainly unique high school experience. This specific example of progress at Westminster was not the anomaly in the country at the time. Outside of Westminster, the most significant legislation in bringing about equality between men and women in education, Title IX, was passed just a year later, in 1972. This formative time in women's liberation led to momentous victories. Here are just a few. 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court outlaws the practice of private employers refusing to hire women with preschool-aged children. 1972, the Supreme Court rules that the right to privacy encompasses an unmarried person's right to use contraceptives. 1973, Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court declares that the Constitution protects women's rights to terminate an early pregnancy, thus making abortion legal in the United States. 1975, the Supreme Court denies the right to exclude women from juries. 1984, the U.S. Supreme Court rules that law firms may not discriminate on the basis of sex in promoting lawyers to partnership positions. This list goes on. These were hard-fought victories that involved the action and dedication of countless women and men. These victories also contribute to a false sense of security or equality that many women feel today. When 4 million women marched on January 21st, 2017, they were marching for the notable items left off that list. For example, paid maternity or family leave, equal pay for equal work, and various protections for victims of sexual assault. But they were also marching for those items that are in peril, most notably access to significant reproductive and women's health services. These rights are not a given, whether established or not, because the discussion is not over. There is work to be done to achieve true equality. So remember that to #BeBoldForChange is a privilege for us all. Don't sit back and assume others will pursue policy that brings about equality. Instead, exercise your right in this democracy by fighting for policy measures that close that gap a little sooner than 2186. Okay, so maybe policy is not your thing. Do not fret. International Women's Day also seeks to address those more personal items. In a time when newspaper articles covering the newly elected Prime Minister of Great Britain, Theresa May, describe the role of her husband as Philip May, he is known in politics as a man who has taken a back seat to allow his wife, Theresa May, to shine. He allowed her to shine. Now that is a power dynamic for you. Feminist Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie calls this feminist light. That is the idea that women can be powerful, but should remember not to rock the boat of traditional power dynamics between men and women. These are the nuances embedded in our language, culture, and also deep down inside of each woman. That little voice inside us that asks, do I look okay today? Was I too pushy in that last discussion? To be a good athlete, can I be strong but not big? Am I qualified enough for that position? Those are the questions we learn to live by, ultimately checking ourselves and fitting into whatever shape necessary for the required feminine touch of the moment. I say we #be bold for change and resolve to ask more of ourselves than the sneaky insecurities that we learn from society. Young women, remember, you can demand to be taken by your words, not your looks. Remember that you have a voice that matters, and it is not your job to qualify it. Remember that strong is beautiful. And finally, that you are good enough. You're good enough for that job, for that relationship, for that opportunity. But it won't be enough to check ourselves. We need to demand more of each other, fortify each other in compliments that move beyond, I like your jacket, you look pretty today, and into, your work in this community matters. Now for the second theme of International Women's Day this year, #DayWithoutWomen. That is, what would everyone's day look like in the absence of women who are such an integral part of our lives? The obvious conclusion here would be, well, how do certain things get done? If that woman is your administrative assistant, who answers the phones? Or if that woman is a crosswalk attendant, medical assistant, restaurant server, school bus driver, there would be a void in the completion of everyday tasks. But I want to point out the less obvious and more urgent message. When, as a feminist, I say equality, I do not mean sameness. I will admit that in the beginnings of my career, I thought in order to break down stereotypes, I needed to speak, act, or react in the male model. I walked around, wanting everybody to take me seriously, and I thought that meant rejecting some feminine qualities that are often associated with weakness. What I didn't realize is that I was cutting out my own strengths and what made me special. What I recognized over time, mainly because I never quite got the desired response or conclusion I was looking for, was that I didn't need to act more like my male counterparts to be equal. I needed to raise my perspective, my method, my thoughts to the conversation. In other words, there is a benefit to different voices in a conversation. When, as history has played out, the only voices in a discussion that matter are male, we miss out on the value of differing experiences and perspective. As I found my voice and my approach as a teacher, coach, and dean of students, I started to get more meaningful and genuine responses. My relationships with students and with my colleagues grew stronger as I was more comfortable in my communication. And now there are still times when I rely a little too much on Adichie's feminist light, that is, I don't want to rock the boat. But I am quickly reminded, as it usually results in a less than savory interaction, that I was not being my genuine self, and I have to set out to mend the situation. Indeed, it has even helped me be a better parent. I come from a family of 2 daughters. Growing up, my mom was a consistent reminder of my development as she imparted leadership and strength into me and my sister. Fast forward 33 years, and I find myself with 2 little boys, Francis and Patrick. I have to admit the sheer panic that set in as I realized, as Frankie grew up, I wasn't sure how to communicate with him. Many of you guys have seen this little guy running around campus. He's kind of hard to miss. You know that his inquisitive nature and sense of humor exude a certain confidence that can almost be daunting. I quickly realized that Frankie just needed me to be me. He needs his father's voice, but so too does he need mine. In our family, just as in life, it is the multitude of those voices that make for the best of human experiences. So this #Day Without Women, I want you to reflect on the woman's perspective in your life that matters every day. Who is she? How does she support you? Do you do your part to support her? Do you give what she says equal weight, even if maybe it isn't what you want to hear? Part of this crazy endeavor of feminism is to honor and recognize the importance of those voices, to keep them genuine and to eradicate the sameness that has dominated our thought for far too long. So one last task. We need to bring it back to Westminster, to our beloved and cherished community. Let's be bold, and please take a stand when you identify with what's said. That is, as I go through this list, please stand when you hear the female voice you would miss in our community on a day without women. Please stand if it would be your roommate's voice. Would it be your teammates? Would it be your advisor? Would it be your sister? Would it be your mom? Would it be your history teacher? Would it be your coach? Would it be your dorm parent? Would it be Miss Walsh's creativity in English class? Miss Keough's coordination of the yearbook? Mrs. Crosby's voice on the lacrosse field? Mrs. Ulrich's generosity? Miss Spencer's advice on leadership? Mrs. Erneberry's expertise in chemistry? Mrs. Donegan's willingness to listen? Miss Moore's support in the dorm? Mrs. Wood's lessons of kindness in her classroom? Mrs. McGrath's open door? Miss Danilou's gift to the written word? Miss Warner's understanding of what it's like to be a student here? Miss Cooper's enthusiasm for softball? Mrs. Gritzmacher's pursuit in your college process? Miss Devaney's passion for helping us reach for more than we thought possible? Miss Heckman's views on world politics? Mrs. Pope's stories from her travels abroad? Miss Loveland's patience? Look around. These are the voices that enrich our lives here. Just as those 12 young women set out to change the experience, we also have the opportunity to contribute to Westminster and the greater society by being bold for change and using our voice. So in honor of International Women's Day, I hope you'll make an effort to honor the work and the voice of special women in your life. Thank you.